Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Future Ready podcast with me, Bryce Barrows. Just a quick one on why the change in name and approach. Last year, I took a break to see how this podcast could really help others. I felt the most pressing need was to address the change in market dynamics and to move forward towards AI. I wanted that the podcast would be the catalyst to diminish the fear that people have about how AI could be taking their jobs and instead guiding them on how to cope and, in fact, pivot themselves to come out as winners. AI seems to be on everyone's mind. Some are worried, while others are looking at it as an opportunity. Whichever boat you are in, this podcast will help you irrespective where you stand. In my view, AI isn't a threat, it's an opportunity, especially at this point in time. This may change, of course, in the future, but now is the time to capitalize on it. If you don't know me, here's what you should know. While most see a shifting job market with anxiety, I specialize in turning that adversity into a roadmap for success. Whether you're navigating complex job applications or pivoting sectors, I combine decades of HR leadership at giants like Nokia and Motorola with modern strategies to help you build a lasting legacy. My team and I don't just help you cope with change, we architect your future. We have done this for hundreds of people over the last decade. Our focus for this podcast is to help you architect your future around the changes that are happening around you and build a legacy for your future. So the podcast will still be launched twice a month, every fortnight. With time, I will increase the number of episodes. I'm truly excited about this new approach and looking forward to the season with a new strategy, approach, and new hope for you, the viewer. So let's start with today's episode. Today, I want to touch on a very important topic that will help you to be the architect of your future career. My warning is if you don't do this, it will affect your career in coming years. It is just a matter of time. You will need to focus on this moving forward, especially now in 2026, where things are changing so dramatically. Previously, we got into a career and stuck with it, and that was it. But now, with the advent of technology and artificial intelligence, it is a whole different ballgame. The concept of the corporate ladder is effectively dead. In the past, a degree could sustain a 40-year career. Today, half-life of a learned skill is estimated to be just 5 years. For the tech industry, it's even less. If you're not planning your learning curve, you are actively falling behind. We are living in a world of AI integration and skill-based hiring. Employers are now hiring candidates with lifelong learning habits and soft skills. The question at the end of the day is simple. Are you ready and able to decode future shocks in your career? Most people fail at being ready. Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, said, with the pace at which AI is evolving, it is entirely reasonable to expect a different world in the next 5 years. If you have not planned to embrace AI, then consider this as your wake up call. We usually think that blue collar workers have their heads in the sand, but white collar workers are no different. Most are really not ready for the changes that are coming. Being ready is important. Being ready means you need to plan your career. That is why today we will be speaking about career planning. You see, most of us plan our lives for the next year at the end of December. We call them New Year's resolutions or New Year's goals. However, very few people who plan out their career in these New Year's resolutions. The most important one seems to be weight loss for some reason. And by the second month, everybody gives up. But jokes aside, this is where career planning comes in. You might say, but December is over. You see, don't get caught up in this trap. Goals can be set up any time of year. The main idea is to write them down and then take action. So let's come to what is career planning. You see, career planning is the ongoing process of managing your learning and work life. It is not like a degree that you complete once. It is a continuous cycle where you align your skills and values with the changing opportunities in the job market. Could it involve a new degree? Yes, it could. But with most hiring taking place these days, companies are mostly focused on skills. So the question arises, will a degree really matter? I guess that's to be discussed in another episode. But jokes aside, once again, this depends on the requirements of your existing and future role. Technically, what the market wants, the market will get. This can only be realized through proper planning. This planning will give you a clear picture of how you want to take your career forward. Now that we know what career planning is, how do you go about it? At its core, career planning has four specific areas. These four specific areas are self assessment, exploration, decision making, and action. Let's look at the first one, which is self assessment. As I asked earlier, how many of you have actually worked on goals for the year that include your career? Moving forward, this will become a need rather than something optional. So let's talk about self assessment. It is about you reflecting on your current skills. We often fear this because we prefer believing all is well until it isn't. Here is a practical step you can take right now. Take out a sheet of paper and make three columns. In your first column, start writing down what you think are the requirements for your position. In the second column, write down what you actually do in your job. Don't worry, I will come to the third column. You see, once you understand yourself, you will move to the second phase, which is exploration. Now, this is where you stop looking inwards and start looking outwards. That is, investigating the market. You see, you need to identify the discrepancies between your current reality and the market reality. Now, take the list that you made, and this is where your third column will come in. In your third column, you are going to add the market requirements. Look for the 2026 essentials like emotional intelligence and AI tools, but most of all, what skills are companies looking for that you don't have yet? This will help you see the gap between where you are now and where the future readiness benchmark is. Exploration allows you to spot these trends so you are not caught off guard. You need to ask if your industry is growing, shrinking, and where the new opportunities lie. How will you do this? You see, there are three things that you should be looking at. As I mentioned earlier, industry growth. Is your industry growing? Industry shrinkage. Is your industry shrinking or declining? And also the third thing, which is changing trends in your industry. You will need to start adapting accordingly. The best way to read this is to go online and pick 10 jobs, any 10 job openings, pull out job descriptions, especially those from top organizations and fast paced growing organizations, as they are the first to set benchmarks. What will happen is that the JD or the job description will show for your existing position and for positions above yours, meaning your next level and the level above, what are companies looking for in the people that they're hiring? What are the skills? You will be able to identify your gaps from your skill sets just by looking at these job descriptions. You'll be able to see what expertise they're looking for. You see, all three of these signs, they will guide you. So you will need to add these into your third column. If your job type is growing, that's great. If it's shrinking and you can't find jobs in your area of expertise, then you need to start thinking and move fast. I would recommend that you contact a career coach, someone who can guide you. I'm available to help as well. If there are changing trends, then you need to identify those as it is vital in surviving with the changes that are coming in your area. You see, once you can identify these changing trends, you yourself will then be able to move into the third phase, which is decision making. Now, all the research that you do means nothing if you do not make a choice. This is where SMART goals come in. Now, if you have worked in corporates, I'm sure most of you know what SMART goals are. For those who don't, a SMART goal is not something vague like, I want a better job. It is specific. For example, I might say, I will complete a certification in AI ethics by the end of Q1, or I will attend 2 networking events per month. These are SMART goals. You see, they are specific, they're measurable goals. And this will help you move your career from where it is now to where you want to be. It was Benjamin Franklin who said that failing to plan is planning to fail, which leads me to the fourth phase. And the fourth phase is action. You see, this is the execution phase. There is no point in planning only. In fact, something we get too caught up in is analysis paralysis. When we get into analysis paralysis, we don't move forward. All we do is analyze. So let's put it this way: you taking no action now will end up hurting you in the future. So let me repeat that. You taking no action now will end up hurting you in the future. You will be at a stage where your expertise would not matter anymore and will not be in demand. So, taking action is key to survival. In fact, while you build up your plan, keep upskilling, keep learning, networking, and applying for roles. Why apply for roles? It will give you an idea how much you are in demand. As mentioned earlier, your degree goes so far, especially nowadays. It's about constant learning. You must shift from being a knower to a learner. Another thing, having a strong network is extremely important. In the future, it will all depend on who you know. In 2026, networking is about authentic connections rather than just transactions. 2026 has already opened with us seeing that AI is automating many white collar jobs while boosting and AI augmented opportunities. Unemployment is projected to increase this year. The question is, are you ready? So let's wrap up this episode. Remember, careers are rare. We're navigating through what is currently called squiggly careers. It's about sideways movement to gain new skills. So let's recap. Remember by following the 4 steps. The first step being self assessment, looking inwards, basically. Second one is exploration, looking outwards, what the market wants. The third one is making a decision, you deciding what you're going to do. And the fourth one, and the most important, is action. You will build the resilience to handle whatever the market throws at you if you follow this plan. Please don't take it lightly. After this episode, please go grab a piece of paper, and while it's still fresh in your head, make those 3 columns. What you will see will shock you. Please save this episode on whatever platform you're using and share it with someone you care for, because, my friend, this is going to affect all of us. So please like, subscribe, follow, and share. That's it for this episode. I hope whatever I have presented today will help you or someone you care about. So until the next fortnight, thank you for listening. I'm Bryce Barrows, your future readiness architect. The future belongs to those who are ready. Go be unstoppable. Thank you.